This page was created to teach Black history. Unfortunately, the American educational system was designed to exclude our real historical account, so we are here to dismantle it. It's time to enlighten those of us who have been kept in the dark. I too was a Black man who didn't know enough about our own history, so I began to dig deeper and do my own research. I want people of all races and cultures to join together to learn our history as one. Here, I will share all of my findings. Please share and support teaching Black history.
The story of Amanda America Dickson. Amanda was born into slavery in Hancock County, Georgia. Her enslaved mother, Julia Frances Lewis Dickson, was 13 when she was born. Her father, David Dickson, was a white planter who owned her mother. He was one of the 8 wealthiest planters in the county. When he was 40 years old, David Dickson had raped 12-year-old Julia Dickson, and she became pregnant. Throughout Amanda's childhood, her father became wealthier and more famous. Renowned for his innovative and successful farming techniques, David Dickson showed that farmers could profit from slave labor without having to resort to violence to keep them in submission. By 1861, he was known as the Prince of Georgia Farmers, having contributed perhaps more than any other farmer in Georgia at the time to the prosperity of the region. Amanda's father showered her with love and affection. Her mother was a household slave, assigned as David's housekeeper, and she was forced also to provide him with sex. Amanda benefited greatly from her father's social status, enabling her to live a life of relative privilege as a slave child. Evidence suggests that David Dickson took charge of Amanda's education. In her white grandmother's household, she learned to read, write, and play the piano, unlike what was permitted for her enslaved relatives. Amanda also learned from her father how to conduct business transactions responsibly and how to maintain and protect her finances. At the age of 27, Amanda chose to leave the security of her home at her father's plantation to attend the Normal School of Atlanta University, where she studied teaching from 1876 to 1878. In 1866, at the age of 16, she lived as if she was married to Charles Eubanks, a white first cousin and Civil War veteran. As an interracial couple, they could not legally marry in Georgia. Therefore, they either never officially married or they married out of state before returning to Georgia. But there is no surviving proof of a legal marriage. They had 2 sons together. After 4 years of being married to Charles Eubanks, Amanda left her husband and returned to her father's plantation in 1870. Shortly after giving birth to her second son, Charles Eubanks died a few years later on July 31st, 1873. Years after having completed her teaching degree, Amanda married a second time on July 14, 1892, to Nathan Toomer, a wealthy, educated mixed-race man. When David Dickson died suddenly on February 18, 1885, Amanda inherited the majority of his vast estate, which included 17,000 acres of land. In what became known as the David Dickson will case, 79 white relatives of David Dickson disputed the will in court, mainly arguing that David Dickson was not of a sound mind when he wrote the will, that she was not his child. Ultimately, 8 months later, on June 13th, 1887, Samuel Hall and Mark Blandford of the Georgia Supreme Court ruled in favor of Amanda and her 2 sons, formally settling the dispute of David Dixon's will. Citing the 14th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, saying that the rights and privileges of a black woman and her children would be the same rights and privileges of a white concubine or illegitimate white woman and her children. So the same laws govern the rights and privileges of women of both races. Amanda became a member of the elite black community in Augusta, Georgia, and she was held in high esteem by those who came to know her because of her wealth, elegance, and intelligence. In 1893, her health quickly deteriorated. Dr. F.D. Kendall, who examined her on the morning of June 9, 1893, noted that her heart and lungs appeared to be fine. From complications of diseases, Amanda America Dickson Toomer died on June 11, 1893.